welcome back to some more of the Female Gaming Legacy Challenge. I don't know if this one is coming out before the How Many Babies Challenge episode 15 or if that one is coming out first, but if not, I talked about in that one, if it is coming out after, I did mention in that one of the Female Gaming Legacy ones is one of the videos affected by my mic issue. This is it. Welcome to this episode. I do think I have finally got to the very root of the problem with my mic issue, and since then I have not had any problems. Literally, actually, right after recording this episode, I recorded one more episode this day that I recorded the 2 episodes of the How Many Babies Challenge and this Female Gaming Legacy Challenge. I realized, I forgot why, but there was a reason why I went to go check something on one of these videos and realized that there was no audio for my mic. So I got that sorted out, recorded another episode. That one had the mic, so only one of the Female Gaming Legacy episodes of that day that I recorded, did like a mass recording section, got affected. So this was it. I have cut out most of the parts. I didn't speed this one up too much. I've sped it up just a little bit. But I've mainly taken out certain sections that I was just like, for the purpose of doing a voiceover, I'm not going to worry about keeping those sections there. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is it. For the most part, not too much. Like, not too many, like, really big things. Well, in some ways, 2 big things happened, but, like, basically, I think there could have been worse episodes that this happened on. Yeah, were there 2 big things in there? Yes, but they were things that it was like, they happened so close to the beginning or so close to the end that it was like, okay, whatever. The first thing, which you might already have seen it pop up on the screen, is that I technically finished Rouge's Aspiration. So we were like so close to finishing that aspiration, and I literally just needed like 1 or 2 of them to go to work, basically. And I was waiting for that. I think Rouge was the one who went to work and came back and made enough money to tick that aspiration off. So officially, Rouge's challenge is complete. I can check that off. I got that good to go. We are 100% fully Zelda mode now. Although this is like episode 5 of what I was considering a Zelda section. It was just Rouge's last little bit was literally, I just needed to make money, so there was no point of trying to keep focusing on her and just have her make sure that she's making money in the background. And the more if I would have pushed focusing on Zelda a little bit more further back, then Zelda would have been through a big section of her young adulthood life. So I was like, nah. But I can officially say that, you know, before it was like 90% was focused on Zelda, and then we had a 10% where we needed to focus on Rouge. We are 100% on Zelda now, and we are good to go for that. So basically, we now can have the freedom to not worry about Rouge's aspiration or anything going on with Rouge. If we don't have to have the stress of worrying about if something happens to Rouge, since she is an elder. And though elders seem to have sort of a number lifespan, like so many days before they officially will pass away, there is just that higher chance that they can pass away at any moment, because if they accidentally overexert themselves, or I think some of the other moodlets and stuff have a higher chance of, you know, they can't take as much because they're elderly. So that fear that she was going to potentially pass away before I can get that money amount, and then technically this whole challenge would have been down the drain because Rouge would have passed away before I finished it, it's gone. We don't have to worry about that. We're fine. We're good to go. It's alright. Now we just need to make sure we get all the Zelda stuff. But realistically, I think Zelda's going a little bit smoother than the previous generations. I think Amicia and Rouge's were a little bit more challenging and took a little bit more than I thought, but I also partially made that harder on myself anyway. So, don't fully lead by my example if you give this challenge a try. I had Amicia having way too many kids on a very small, well, not too small of a budget, because technically the guy she married brought over quite a bit of money, but we were purposely trying to live off the grid and stuff like that, and doing all that with a bunch of kids in the house is not easy. And then Rouge, I had her move to a place to where you couldn't really easily access getting crystals often. So, yeah, anyway, so, whoopsie, my bad. But, it's fine. You can learn from my mistakes if you eventually give this challenge a try. But yeah, so with Zelda and leading up, I did have her going to work. We have her working on, like, her sort of little mini gardening so that we can get that work on the floral arranging skill. So I did a few small things here and there, and I was sort of prepping. Eventually I sort of prepped the move, because now that Rouge had completed her aspiration, it was perfectly okay and perfectly fine for Zelda to move out. So I was sort of taking some time here and there to work on some of her skills here and there while we were still in this household and such. But I was in the mindset of towards the end of this episode, because I didn't want to move in the middle of the episode, because I decided which neighborhood I was going to move her into, but I hadn't decided which lot I was going to move her into. So I wasn't sure where we were going to go, and I didn't know if it was going to be a situation where I needed to buy furniture. Was I going to rearrange the house immediately? What was I going to do? I hadn't fully decided that yet. So yeah, I was like, I'm going to do it more towards the end of the episode, so that if I do decide to rearrange the house or change the house or do something like that, I can do that after the recording instead of taking time in the middle of the recording to do so. So I do push that back a little bit to the end, but that was the other big thing, sort of, that was going on. I did do a lot of, I've actually tried to get using Social Bunny more on multiple of my saves, so I do fool with that a little bit more, trying to get these relationships, trying to have her have friends, but also trying to figure out, trying to entice some of these guys that we are talking to potentially reach out to us, and see if, one of them has any interest in us romantically, or one that at least shows more interest in wanting to hang out with us. Maybe not necessarily showing a romance, but if they're showing more of hey, I really like hanging out with you, then obviously that means they find us interesting enough that they want to hang out with us more often, so maybe it could lead somewhere. So, I was sort of using Social Bunny as a little quick thing to build up some of that friendship with people that I wanted to be just friends with, but then also, potential romances, and see, how that goes, and hopefully push things along. One of her friends actually did eventually invite her out, just to also leave, because I have this weird thing, and I thought it seemed to disappear there for a while, but it does seem to still occasionally happen, where I have a sim invite me out and be like, hey, let's go hang out at the club, at the bar, at the lounge, at the cafe, and they come, and they're there for 2 minutes, and then they're gone. If even that. But I think her friend did stay a little bit longer, but, we came and hung out with a friend, and I also was like, hey, maybe one of the guys that we're sort of talking to will show up. So, I kept sort of trying to keep an eye out on them. We also came in the middle of blizzard. Not the best idea. It's fun. It's cool. It's whatever. We got it. We survived. Our friend did hang out with us for a pretty long time, but longer than some of them did. But she did still disappear quicker than I thought she was going to. Eventually, I lost sight of her, and I never seen her again. And I looked for her for a bit, where'd she go? She left me hanging? What's happening? I never found her. I never know what happened. So, it's just us hanging out at the bar, so I was sort of hoping, I was like, you know what, fine, I'll stay at the bar a little bit longer. Maybe Kyler will show up. Maybe Bryce will show up. Maybe Zora will show up. Well, at least one of them. Maybe. Maybe not. But hey, the longer I stay, the higher the chances I have of maybe running into one of them. I also eventually decided that this bar was not interesting enough, so I went to the nightclub that was literally next door and had a funner time there. I actually she ran into some people that she already knew, so we built up some friendships and had a good time. Ran into some family members. That tends to happen more often than not, actually. Her aunt, who she's actually really close with, was one of the first ones I seen. I think eventually her uncle also shows up, and technically her uncle's wife shows up as well, I believe. I want to say another family showed up. Maybe not. I can't remember now. But yeah, anyway, we came here, we were dancing, talked to a few people, had a pretty good time, I think. I haven't seen it on my screen yet, so I may be talking a little bit ahead of schedule here. Also, I may end up speeding this up just a little bit more. I don't know. Once I get my voiceover in there, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I do think one of the guys shows up, and I want to say it was Bryce. I'm pretty sure he shows up. So I got a chance to talk to them. It was our cousin. One of our cousins. Or at least, I don't think she's a blood cousin. I think she is the daughter of this one guy that our aunt on our mom's side married. So she's like our aunt's stepchild. So step-cousin, whatever you want to say. No blood cousins, but still in a way a cousin, sort of. And she was there. And we talked to her a bit. She, if I remember correctly, she wasn't always the nicest one to us. But you know what? It's fine. It's cool. We still try to talk to her because she's closer to our age than some of our cousins. And I think they technically actually did build up a little bit of friendship, but it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a whole lot, But it was some. So, hey, I'm trying to get Zelda to be at least somewhat more sociable. She's still more the type that would like to stick at home. And even at the, as we stayed at the nightclub longer, she definitely looked sleepy and was like, can I go home? Can I go to bed? And I was like, no. Because at that point, yeah, it's definitely Bryce that showed up. So I was like, nah, we gotta keep talking to people. Girl, you ain't getting any younger, and the longer I wait, the worse that this, the worse chances this challenge has of succeeding. I hate to break it to you, your life, unlike mine, it goes very fast. Mine goes sometimes it seems like mine's going faster than it should. But nowhere near as fast as Sims time goes. So, technically for Sims, I go from Monday to Tuesday. I'm still 29 years old. You go from Monday and Tuesday. Technically, it's probably more like you've already passed a year of your life. Or half a year. Something like that. So, time's going by quickly. And I eventually need Generation 5, so I need you to suck it up and stay at the nightclub and talk to some people, particularly try to talk to Bryce some more, because I think Bryce also had invited us out more than once, at least once, but maybe more than once. But yeah, so it's like, we gotta, the guy who seems to be showing the most interest in you is here. You can't leave, I'm sorry. You can go and mingle with other people every once in a while so it doesn't seem obvious that, you're trying to get his attention the most. But still, girl, you need to talk. I'm sorry. This is just your life. I've put you in this life, and I will make sure that you do the things that I want you to. I am your master. Anyway, I'm getting a little too carried away here. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was at this nightclub for a while, partially because there were so many people that I actually wanted her to try and chit chat with and get to know. So it was nice to actually. It seemed like at the bar it was just nah, no one was really there. And like I said, our friend left us. But I actually think our friend Kate showed up at the nightclub randomly also. So it was like, where'd you go? Well, at least you're here now. We can hang out. That's fine, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, so that was the whole situation. Anyway, yeah, that's basically how I wrap up that episode. I ended it on the loading screen, leaving the nightclub, basically. But even though this was not the original video that I had intended for you all, I hope you still enjoyed it, nevertheless. And again, I'm pretty sure that I have completely got down to the root of the problem and fixed it. So I'm hoping that this issue will not ever happen again. I can't 100% promise it will, but I can like 98% promise it won't happen again. But, so yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you still enjoyed the episode, even though it was not the original plan. But, you know, tried to do my best to at least save it to a certain degree. Yeah, anyway, thank you. I'll hopefully see you in the next one.